Welcome back to the podcast. Today we've got Leanne from Quirky Frog PR, who was our PR company when we had Get Results Training. That's how I got featured in Men's Health and Women's Health and MyFitnessPal and a couple of other assorted ones that I probably forgot. They weren't good enough to put on the website, so I don't remember. And now she obviously runs the PR for Collective Coaching, and she occasionally does a little bit helping out with our clients with PR and strategy and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about the journey in a fitness business, which is quite interesting actually, and also talk about the transition into PR and give you some actionable tips on how you can use PR in your business to get a blue tick. How do you get a blue tick?
So you need to prove that you are a real person.
I know they say that, but like, what do you actually have to do? Because you know, like when you want to go and buy a Rolex and they go like, oh, you know, you just need to put your name on the list, and like you don't. You need to buy a fucking load of watches. They want you to buy loads of watches and give them loads of money and introduce them to loads of people, and then you can buy a Rolex.
So with the blue tick, the idea behind social media accounts having blue ticks is to confirm that if you are somebody within the media or the public eye or a business, that you are the real deal. Because with social media, as we know, there's so many different profiles that can be created. You've had fake ones recently popping up left, right and centre.
So where's my blue tick?
So we use that as part of the case study. So if you are somebody who is being, what's the word? Impersonated. If you're somebody who's been impersonated, then you need to show that I've got a business and I'm doing X, Y, and Z for my clients, and people are coming to me for this. So I don't want other people being scammed off the back of it. It started around the celebrity era. Obviously, there's loads of different celebrities. People think they're talking to a celebrity and they're not. So in terms of getting a blue tick, they always ask you for links and articles to show who you are and that the media have featured you. The media will do their due diligence. As you know, we have to give so much, particularly if we're talking about the business side of things, we have to give those numbers and we have to prove that the information we're giving is correct. So if you have been featured in the media and in a reputable article, not just somebody's blog.
Does it have to be reputable, or can it be for bad shit as well?
Yeah, it's if you've just been featured on somebody's blog that they don't know who this person's blog is, it could be you creating a blog and then putting your face on it, pretending that you're somebody else. So it would be the likes of, a national publication or a magazine. So you need to be featured in those.
Why is my head telling me that it's definitely easier to get featured in a national magazine for bad shit than it is for good stuff?
Because the national magazines and the national papers, they thrive on British culture. And what do we love about British culture?
People failing.
Exactly. So, we love a sob story. We love something going wrong for somebody. I mean, if something's going right in a celebrity's world,
no one gives a fuck.
Nobody cares.
No one gives a shit.
So they just want to know about all of the negative that's happening.
That's why Big Brother's so good, and like gossip. Love Island. I know people just want to watch people fall apart live in front of them, don't they?
Yeah.
We're horrible cunts, us. That's why all the Australian shows are dead good. Like, everyone loves them over there. Oh, well, good for them. They found love. Everyone's like, it's fucking shit, this. No one's fighting. No one's cheated on each other. Get them other lot in. It's bad, isn't it?
It's true. So, that's what you're constantly competing with. But however, the press do love a great personal success story, in particular one that's had some kind of adversity that comes through it. So again, what we're saying about your knees, and you've got to wait for the right time to put things out to make sure that it gets out there in the right time as well. With the national papers, you read that it's either going to be a talking point about what's happening in a celebrity's life and all of your gossip side of things. And then it's going to be mixed with current affairs. So you're constantly competing. Right now, we've just competed with the Queen dying. You're not going to get in there anywhere, and there's no point you trying to put something into a national publication.
You'd have to do something pretty barbaric to get in front of Liz.
And you don't want to be doing that. So then you are now competing with the PM and everything that's going on with her right now, the cost of living.
I don't watch Tory news. What's going on?
The mortgage rates going up. So all of this is just that always talk. But then what you do with the current affairs as it is right now, cost of living going up, we find angles that we can relate to this with how we can relate that back to your story or what advice that you can give.
Yeah.
So you might not get in a national publication talking about interest rates because you've got no experience in interest rates, but a financial advisor could go in there and start talking about it. A mortgage advisor could go in there.
Martin Lewis.
So you have there's a different place for, or a certain place for everybody at a certain time. So you just have to play on what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. I know, like, obviously when COVID happened, if you had a small business during COVID, they were loving stuff like that, weren't they? Like businesses that had either, well, they love the ones that gone under as well, like as normal, but like
ones that are complaining like, oh, I can't afford to reopen, and they just want that sob story. That BBC love it. They love that negative news.
Yeah. But then also I know there was lots of like businesses that, like we were one of them that flourished during COVID. Like I'm assuming that stories at that point for small businesses that had done very well were ones that were very highly sought after.
Yeah. So again, and it's always, you have your own success story and you think, I've done really, really well. I should get in the media and people should talk about me because I've got so much to say. But is the story interesting for the media? And this is what you have to think of. So one of the things that the media love are side hustles. So if you're somebody who is currently right now working full time, but your side hustle is building an online fitness business, then once you become successful, you can champion that story to say, my side hustle business exceeded my full-time wage by 5 times. So I said, see you later, and cracked on with it. That's a story that they want to do. They don't just want to know that you were living with your mum and dad and you've built an online business.
Yeah, they like it when you buy your own house as well, I've noticed. The MEN do that every single week, don't they? Like, this girl bought a house at 24. And then the comments. Have you seen the comments on them photos?
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrific.
It's like when somebody's doing well and I saw an article the other day and she flies 25,000 miles to buy a handbag. So they just want headlines like that. It's clickbait. You've got to think about what clickbait are you using right now in your fitness business and how can you spin that into a headline?
I saw a girl on my Instagram that got put in the news about something like that. I don't think she even said it. It was some proper twist. Basically, a
blonde girl in the picture was sat on a plane on the...
I can't remember. She runs like a fitness thing. And apparently like she's met this lad and the lad does really well. So she like doesn't have to grow a business as hard. And she was like, well, I'm a really high quality partner. I run my own business. I look after myself, etc. But now I'm in this relationship. I let him do it. Honestly, they twisted it up bad. Like they basically made it sound like she was like, I deserve to be looked after for the rest of my life and all. It was awful.
But they do. And again, British culture, they love that. They love that angle. So that's why you've got to be very careful and considerate on and how you write your own personal story as well and what information you do put out there and what angle you want to put it on.
Do you really get much say in it though? Like, I guess that's somebody that doesn't have PR though, right? Like if you have a PR company like yourself and you go in through the PR company, they're less likely to twist it or less likely to get away with twisting it if you've got somebody that knows what they're actually doing.
Yeah, and the
end.
relationships as well. So it's kind of, we've done it before where we've worked with celebrities and, you know, we've lined up an interview. The celebrity does the story and we have to really prep them before they go in, and we sit on the 3-way call, and if something starts being said that I know that could be twisted, you just So what you were just saying there about that one, but it's you've got to know what it is that you're about to say, and if you're unsavvy to the media and you're unsavvy to how things can be twisted, you know, lawyers are great for this, and people that work or have like a law background, they'll know how things can be twisted. You know, even just by saying, "I'm happy for you to call me" instead of "you can call me." Those two status that they can be spun completely different.
I'd be awful at stuff. That's why I've got you clearly, because I'd be a nightmare.
That's why we write it for you.
I would be absolutely. I'd end up getting pulled for all sorts of shit, I reckon. I'd be like public enemy number 1. I get a blue tick though. I'd be in the media.
Yeah,
probably through loads of controversial shit. Be like, it wouldn't be like that, but hopefully.
Yeah, but again, go back to that. It's kind of your own personality is best suited to certain publications and certain,
Vice.
Yeah, and it's
like Bible, definitely not the Telegraph.
No, I think you'd be great in the Telegraph.
And to be fair, I don't read the paper.
Exactly, but it's having like what you've got to think of is where you're being positioned as well. It's you want to be positioned in certain publications to have that credibility. So if you stuck the Telegraph on your website, we're like, oh, he's been in the Telegraph.
Yeah, like Forbes and Business Insider, so not like Maxim and Max Power.
I trust him because he's been in the Telegraph. Yeah. Whereas we put My Fitness Pal blog up, then it'd be like, oh, he's been featured in My Fitness Pal. Scroll on. Do you know? But you have your My Fitness Pal blog.
That was relevant then, though,
because that's relevant
for
your fitness audience. But then also because when you typed in Get Results Training and you have a list of the publications you've been in, the clients that want to come on board and work with you as a fitness coach be like, oh, he writes for My Fitness Pal. I use that app. So this guy's the real deal.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely helped, I think, because
Yeah.
we obviously had quite a premium price for like where we were, what the market was doing at the time. Like we were, I mean, there were some people out there charging more, but like we were top end of,
Yeah.
you know, without being overly specialist, like we were probably top end price wise, but we got away with it because of the standing that the company had and the way that we were set up and the way we were positioned. And I think we got quite lucky. We weren't first movers in the grand scheme of things, but like when everything really took off and the eyes were on online coaching, we probably were. We probably got right on the crest of that wave pretty well.
Well, that's how we met, wasn't it? Because Damien started coming to train with you on a one-to-one, and then I did your group coaching, and it was slick. It was a good operation, and you got took through it, and people forget that because you need to have a slick operation, but it doesn't take much to be slick. It just takes consistency and just a system. Yeah,
it's a bit of thought, really.
Yeah.
But like it makes a difference with just, you know, thinking about the customer journey and mapping out like, right, you've almost got to think. Obviously, we knew we were going on mass with GR8, so we knew we were going to have a lot of people on it. And we also knew the market we were targeting. Like obviously, we were charging nearly £1,000 for a package one-to-one. So we knew that realistically, the people who had £1,000 in the package, they were fairly switched on. We didn't need everything to be properly spoon-fed because they would understand the process. Doing a £150 program to 300 people, you're casting your net really wide then. So we were like, not to like say anyone was an idiot, but it has to be idiot proof. Like, even if somebody doesn't fucking open their emails and do this and do that, we have to have a way where they can still succeed.
Yeah.
Or else, especially when you start running ads and stuff like that for it as well, like you just get anyone and anything. And we had an influencer that we did, not really on purpose, but we accidentally did influencer marketing because she just wanted to do the program. And she was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to tell everyone. She had it was only micro influencer, but still quite a lot, like 60,000 followers that were well engaged. Oh, honestly, the amount of people that we got off the back of it. But that's when we realised the systems weren't as idiot proof as we thought because we pour that many people in. Because you've gone to a different
market that you don't normally attract.
Oh, and it was rough. It was rough. That's when Lewis fully went bald. Lewis lost what was left of his hair when we did that launch. I mean, it was on its way out. Like, I won't take full credit for it, but we definitely finished it off. But yeah, so when you start looking like into PR and stuff, what would be the first steps for like a fitness business, for example, if you wanted to dabble in it, say, and see whether it was something that they wanted to kind of pursue down the avenue of, what would you say kind of the first steps are?
So you can start having a look at, there's a couple of things. You can, first of all, have a look at what's out there right now. Who's being written about? What are the media talking about? And just have a look through the magazines and see what expert comments are going in there. So your women's health and your men's health, they will always have experts in there, personal trainer, nutritionist, talking about their field of speciality. So it might be, we did one with you, didn't we? Like the best hamstring stretches, was it?
I sold my soul for so many of these comments.
But it makes you appear an expert, and that's
I
the deal.
made half of them up because in my head it's going, this is fucking bullshit. This is absolutely like, there's no reason to do. Actually, I think now static stretching has been proven to do absolutely jack shit. So I'm in print somewhere saying that I can't remember what I said. I think I might have hinted that it was pretty useless, but
it's, you just talk about stuff that you would do or you would get your clients to do. But yeah, have a look what's out there, and if you read something and think, I could write that, or I could do that, or I could do that better, then 100% but everybody's media worthy. It's just knowing how to do it. So start having a look at what's out there, start having to think about what it is that you can specialise in. And going back to your own personal self, have a look at what it is that you enjoy doing. What style of training do you prefer? What it is that you focus on? What are you speciality in? Do you prefer to train people who want to run marathons, or is it people that you're training for a body transformation? Is it specialist in feminine weight loss, menopause? So there's loads of different specialities that you can focus on. We've worked with a lady who specialises in helping menopausal women lose weight, and it's completely different advice that she gives to them that what we would give to our clientele who are like 25 to 35.
Yeah, sure.
But she gets incredible results for the better.
Can imagine. Writing a book. Talk me through the process of writing a book, because lots of fitness people write books And sometimes I look at them and I'm like, why the fuck are you writing a book? Like, who the fuck wants to read your book? And I know that's very short-sighted of me, but I feel like some people write a book for the sake of it. Some people are authors. Some people write a book for the media and PR side of things. So tell us a little bit about like why they would write a book for media and PR and not. Some people just write books because they want to write a book, right?
Yeah.
Some people write a book for a strategic position to put themselves somewhere. So what's the strategy behind writing a book?
So we did it for Damien. The book we wrote, he wrote, and I
Damien can't write.
Spell checked it. He really did write a book.
If Damo can write a book, anybody can write a book.
Exactly. But what that did was made him media worthy because he was a #1 best-selling author.
That's fucking daft, that. Especially if you sat down.
#1 best-selling on Amazon. So lease on Amazon, 99p, got all of your audience to buy it, and it pushes its way up. So for that one day in that certain category, you can be a #1.
How many sales do you have to make to be a #1 best-selling author on Amazon?
It wasn't as many as you think. I think we did about 2,000, 2,500 in a day when it first got released.
How much is it though before it gets listed as a bestseller? Is it like 15,000?
So it depends. If you're going to be on the Sunday Times bestselling, which is ultimately where you want to be when you can actually write a book, and you're doing it to be an author and be more credible, then there's that run. I couldn't honestly give you the
There is a number though, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't know it.
So you can logistically, and not to belittle anyone that's a Sunday Times bestseller, but say it's 15,000 copies and your book's $2.99. If you have 30 bags in the bank, you could literally buy.
You could buy all of them.
You could buy you could buy 15,000 copies of your £2 book. You'd have a load of books, but you'd also be a Sunday Times bestseller.
And it goes off pre-orders as well.
And not one cunt would have actually bought your book.
Exactly.
Nobody's bought it.
But
I guess you've got a lead magnet then forever though. You can send them out to people.
That's why we did it. And we just did it on Amazon. We didn't even print one copy. It was just all Amazon Kindle. You had to buy it. You can PDF it. And the front cover was horrendous because we left it to the last minute to do the photo, and we was in Australia at the time, and Damo just got burnt on the day that we needed to take this picture. So we did it against a white wall. His blonde eyebrows are like piercing out. Had to try and get somebody to level it down, but it didn't work. It was as red as that board there.
What's the process you have to go through to actually write the book? I know there's probably a couple of different ways to do it, but what's the most common one?
There's a framework to it. So what you want to do is, first of all, is don't worry about your title or ultimately exactly what's going to go into it, because that will flow. You want to map out your chapters first of all. So I think we did 7 chapters, and then within each chapter you do a sub-chapter. So if you think of right now, everybody has written a book. Guaranteed, everybody who's on social media writing captions has written a book. So you can just go through all of your captions, copy and paste them, put it all onto a Word document, and then start formatting all that together. And you can. Ours was the lean body solution. So it was basically Damien's philosophy around sustainable weight loss and how to go through life without being a hermit and having to do 105 detoxes to lose weight. So he did it in the sense of he took people through a strategic process of what he would take his clients through. And he spoke on hormones. He was really big about hormones at the time and how that affects your weight cycle. So yeah, what he was big on at the time, we spoke about in that book, and he just mapped out what he would do to his clients. So you can map out your own fitness program and beef it up through the captions that you do on social media, and then add more to it.
Is there a process where you can get someone else to do that if you're shit at it?
100%.
How much does that usually cost on average?
You just get a ghostwriter. You can't, it depends. It completely depends.
Budget top end.
So you could be looking at about 7 or 8 grand for a ghostwriter for a book.
That's low end.
That's probably the average.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's a good enough idea. So 38 bags, you can be a bestseller and you do fuck all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for example, right, so say we on our YouTube channel, we're doing like 0 to 50K a year, like how to go from 0 to £5,000 a month within 90 days and then sustain it for the rest of the year. So I could say, right, there's 8 grand. There's the YouTube series. Here's my social media. Knock yourself out.
You need to have that level of involvement and map it out. So you need to say what you want where.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's your book. So you would have somebody write it, but 100% that they can transcribe it from your videos. And then what they would do is piece that together. So if you mapped it out of your chapters, so you do chapter 1, then you do 4 sub-chapters.
Yeah.
So you have 4 videos for each of those sub-chapters. And if you label your videos chapter 1, point 1, chapter 1, point 2, so on and so forth, then the person transcribing it will know what order to put it in. So if you organise it in that sense, so the videos that you've created, that you've uploaded, you would just re-upload in a private format.
So you could literally write a book through repurposing content that you've done on another platform, essentially.
Yeah.
If you were smart about it.
Yeah.
If you thought, right, 12-month goal, I want to have a book, but I also want to grow a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
If you're great at videos, you could sit there and you could map out, right, how many chapters was it?
So I think we did 7, but
for example, so you
can
did
do 7.
eight bigger topics with 4 subtopics each.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? 24? 32 videos. So if you did 2 videos a week, 32, you could literally write a book in 6 months, realistically.
Yep.
That's mad, that.
So that's what we're saying to you. So we need a good 6 months.
Tell Simon. Simon's sat over there.
We need a good 6 months to get your book going. At that 6-month point, your book should be finished, but not ready for release, because at that stage, what we'll do is go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and we'll make sure that we have various different readers read it, give their feedback on it, and it depends what level of impact you want your book to have. Do you want people to read it and then recommend it to friends and family? Because ultimately that's what you want, because your name spreads.
Yeah.
Or do you just want something out there like what we did? We just used it as a media tool so that Damien was a #1 bestseller. So it made it more appealing for the media, because nobody was writing books like that them times.
I genuinely think though, if we strategize the YouTube channel right, it's got the story video of like how I started my business, step 1, then we're going into like more like how-to videos, like step by step. I reckon we could do that.
Yeah, definitely. It's the best way to do it, because this is how a lot of people will write a book.
You know what? I actually don't mind writing. It's just the time investment. Like, I don't know whether I've mentioned this before, but I'm a published poet.
Are you really?
I am. I'm a published poet. I had a poem published in a children's book when I was in school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you remember it?
It was called The Highwayman.
And how did it go?
My mum's got it. I don't know. I can't remember, but my mum's got it.
Oh, is this the Roadman thing?
No, The Highwayman's like...
No, but when I said if anybody describes you, I need ways of how people describe you, and somebody put in the chat, Roadman.
No, a roadman means like you've been involved in gang culture.
Oh, right. I'm not that way inclined, so I don't know that one.
We'll keep that away from the PR. Thank you very much. There's such, they can actually do you for stuff like that. Like if you go on media talking about stuff that you've done previously, and they actually they can try and prove it. I know a couple of rappers in America who've got done for. Well, I don't know them personally, but I'm aware of a couple of people in America that have been charged with like crimes for rapping. Yeah.
So point on that. If anybody's on Twitter or social media and you have not the great views on certain avenues, racism, for example,
the cricket thing,
or gangster, or drugs, or anything like that, just refrain. I mean, I've always done it.
It would be nice if we could refrain from just being racist in general, anyway.
100%. But even if you're supporting like something in the way that we would want it to be supported, you don't engage online.
It's little stuff like drug references, like joking with friends and things like that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, just things like that. And you never know how, some of us are so naive in the sense of we could say one thing that we don't think is insulting when actually it really does insult people. And unless you realise that. So it's I just say don't engage in political topics online. Don't talk about it unless you are in a political sector. And there's something that you can converse about.
Yeah, I think... I'm quite lucky that obviously I've grown up in a multicultural society like pretty much my whole life, like school, college, university. I think people say dumb shit when they come from areas without that.
Yeah.
So it's not, I think in some cases they deserve it, but I think in other cases they've been caught out with learned behaviour that no one's ever unlearned them from. But I guess you got to kind of use your more. I've got the idea mixed up in my head. Then I guess you got to use your social media like you'd kind of prepare your bank account if you were going to get a mortgage. Like no OnlyFans, try and keep the other stuff away. Like don't send references to your mate saying there's the money for the drugs, lad.
Because once it's online forever.
Yeah. You forget that you don't actually own that media then when you send it out, do you? But like Facebook and Instagram own the media that you post on there. Like you don't own the IP to that media, do you? They do.
So if you are posting things, that can be taken and repurposed and reused.
Have you ever like worked with anyone that said anything really stupid online?
Yeah, I have actually.
Are you allowed to talk about it?
It was somebody said something very, very stupid during a time when he was under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Posted a tweet that wasn't so great. And then 5 years later, we were working with him on his PR and getting him into the media. And somebody went back through his Twitter account, screenshot it, and uploaded it on the Daily Mail article.
And was that the first time you saw it?
Yeah.
What happened?
Luckily, it just got brushed under the carpet.
It couldn't have been that bad then.
No, because he isn't a celebrity in any stretch. He's a businessman. But
okay.
Yeah. But it's one way or the other. If people pick up on it, there was just a load of likes on it and then a load of comments after it.
Yeah, I'm guessing it can either like spiral.
It just contained it to that thread of the post. So if it was just on a social media post that had been shared on it.
Once
so
it starts getting shared
thread.
between like different networks and stuff like that, though,
your
day could go fucking really south really quickly, couldn't it? Have you ever like come out of a meeting like where your phone's been off for like 2 hours and like the whole world's gone to shit?
I've come off a flight.
That's longer than a meeting, but yeah.
Yeah, I came off a flight and there was a client of ours who was a celebrity. Is a celebrity. He was featured in the media and there was a picture of him and it wasn't the greatest because again he was under the influence and this picture had been it had all gone out and we hadn't pre-approved it.
Did he look like that guy?
He didn't look great.
Jacob, can you get the guy up that's gurning on the you know, the very standard picture of a man gurning, the bald dude at the rave? Did he look like that?
Not far off it. Eyes weren't great. Mouth, chin wasn't great. So yeah, he'd been trying to get hold of me.
Yeah, this dude here, this one.
Yeah.
They're all great, to be fair. I bet you could spend loads of time on there. This guy, fucking hell.
Mate in a state.
I know.
But yeah, that wasn't so great, and he wanted to get that down, and then loads of people commenting about it, and that kind of spiraled a bit. But I just said, well, you shouldn't have been under the influence at your interview, should you?
Yeah, no. I mean, I would always assume that. Do you have to prep people for shit like that stupid?
Yeah.
Like, please do not turn up to speak to journalists while you're off your head.
Yeah, we have to do that all the time.
You would think they would know, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah. Safe to say that we just refused to work with him after that point because he just can't follow directions for his own benefit.
Have you ever refused to work with someone because they've turned up with like their own PR in such a state that you were like, you're toxic, lad, I'm not working with you?
I refuse to work with people quite a lot. I'll have a look into them and I'll just see whether their brand culture aligns with ours and whether it's something that realistically I can get into. So everybody I work with, I treat them like it's my own business, like it's myself. Like I do so much more for others. I've always been that way inclined, like I do nothing for me. But when I work with somebody, I want to get inside of their head. I'm constantly looking at ways of which I can position and where I can go. So unless I can get inside of that person's head and really get a feel for them and really get behind them and be 100% in it with them, I just wouldn't work with them anyway. So if they are somebody who's a bit of a loose cannon and won't stay on the reins, then it's not for me.
Yeah. I'm guessing there's bigger packages for stuff like that.
A lot bigger packages.
Do you have a toxic package? We'll do it, but you're paying for it.
I'd sooner not take the money. It's not worth the headache and the stress.
For sure.
I love my life, how I've created it. And, you always learn from mistakes and I have a good work-life balance. And I get from A to B and I do it in a way that satisfies both me and my clients. Who
would you say is the biggest client that you've got currently? You. Don't be stupid.
Depends kind of like what you work with, I suppose.
I guess who's the most well-known client? I'm assuming you're allowed to say, aren't you? Because it's not like they're doing mad shit. Like it's normal for people to have a PR company. I'm assuming everyone has one. Really,
yeah, but I suppose like for us, it's kind of I work with there's quite a few celebrities, but I work with them ad hoc, so to speak. So there's a couple. I can't say a couple of people.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know.
Why?
Just because we're in a transition of them coming on board with us right now.
So you don't want to sign yourself on the line until they've signed it.
But yeah, and I suppose when we work with a lot of people as well, is I always like to make it appear that they've done it themselves. So especially with like, we work with a lot of medical aesthetics clients, and every single one of their social media that we run, nobody ever realizes that they have a social media team running it behind.
That's really good though, because that can happen sometimes, especially if you're really good in aesthetics. They're not like, if you say work with a really good aesthetics company and people twig that you're doing their social media, clearly all the ones that want to emulate that business will then go, oh, well, you work with Quirky Frog because they do X. And I think you can quickly, because we see it when people do certain business programs, you notice that all the social media starts looking the same. Like they start saying the same things, they're posting the same posts, they're talking. There's a group, right, that talk like this. They all do this on every time they do a story. They go, hey guys, just jumping on. And you're like, why are you all doing that with your hand? You got salad fingers.
You need to catch their attention.
Oh, it's really witty. I know, but they all look like the fucking magical.
Oh no, I'd just scroll past that.
Hand puppet things. You know, like Punch and Judy.
Yeah.
It looks like they're playing fucking Punch and Judy with the stories. But yeah, so we see that a lot. Like when people come to us, they're like, oh, you've come from there.
Yeah.
Like straight away. And if we can see it, customers can see it. So like that's a really good point.
And I think kind of one of our USPs really is that we, again, like we'll shout out about our clients when the timing is right, but we're not one of those agencies who would say, oh, we're working with this person, so come and work with us. I am very selective on who I work with, and I quite like it that way. And what's ironic is we are like a PR and marketing agency that I've never had to do one bit of marketing for myself.
Yeah.
Every single thing has come from referrals from people that I've met.
I guess good clients will do that though, won't they? Like, like if you want to work with top talent will do the due diligence to find out about you. So they might go to the aesthetics company that you work with and say, listen, like I really like your stuff. Would you mind sharing as your contact for PR or marketing? And they'll obviously happily go like, oh yeah, they're great. So you probably don't need to shout about them because realistically, like good people will always be attracted to good work, right?
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, like I've done the celebrity route, and it's not all it's cracked up to be, because not every single celebrity is desirable for the media. So I've worked with celebrities who just think they can get in OK Magazine, Hello Magazine tomorrow. But again, unless they've got something interesting to share, they're not just going to feature for the sake of it. But yeah, we're working with somebody who's really, really excited. Been on a TV show this year.
Can you tell us what the TV show was?
The Apprentice.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
You know what? I watched the one this year, and forgive me if I'm talking about the person that's signing on. I'm probably not. I'm gonna address them as a collective. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like, you know, on like I was going to say Pop Idol then and show exactly how old I am. Fucking Pop Idol was a long time ago. You know, like on X Factor, you know, like the voice is like proper singers. Even if they don't get through, they're still pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, like X Factor is like full of weirdos that like they let through just for like shits and gigs. I thought The Apprentice was like that this year.
There was a few
some of them I was looking
acts.
at, I'm thinking like, I thought this was a proper business show, but clearly you're a fucking clown. I can imagine.
Yeah. So having spoken with quite a few that have been on this year's Apprentice, they can't believe how it was been edited. Because I was going to go on this year's Apprentice. I was going to apply for it, but the only reason I didn't was because the weekend where you had to be available to go and do the interviews, it was Damien's 40th birthday weekend.
Oh, so it's Damo's fault.
So it's Damo's fault again. But then I also felt like where my business was at, everything was bubbling and but taking off. And I thought if I just step away and go missing for 16 weeks, then it's not going to be bubbling when I come back.
That's what guaranteed. I thought with it, you know. Like I thought it would be cool to like apply for it, but then I thought, because it's, how much do you win? Like 250 bags? I
think it's you go into partnership with Alan Sugar.
Yeah, but
so
I won't want 250 bags for part of my business off him. So like, what do you do when you get to that point? You're like, Alan, I don't really want it. Like,
yeah. So the winner, for example, Harps. So Harps owns Oh So Yum, which is the bakery.
Martin's for me, or Robinson's.
And one of the things that she wanted, having spoken to her, that she wanted to get out of it was there were certain avenues that she couldn't get into.
Yeah.
And yesterday she was at Selfridges in the Trafford Centre in Manchester. So the brand have gone into Selfridges, and that was one of the biggest things that she wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So by working with Lord Sugar,
obviously,
she's got those inroads. So you know, it's where you place yourself and where you can go with it.
I've got too much pride, which is probably to my detriment.
Some people need it and some people don't.
It's not like about need. I think it's a personal issue of mine. I think I'd never like someone to be like, oh, you only got there because of X.
Well, we've been approached by so many people to invest in Lean Body projects in the gym. Like unbelievable. Every single year we get people coming to us saying, I love the brand, I want to invest in it. And we're just like, don't want anybody else in it. It's fine.
I'm like that. You know, you're the only agency that we still work with currently.
Oh, really?
Nothing else that we do is, the only reason why we do that is because we don't have enough really work to have a full-time PR team. But yeah, we like this month we've just gutted everyone that doesn't solely work for us has now had their contract terminated. Some of them don't know yet. One of them,
shit.
This is on a delay, so hopefully I've told them. But yeah, but it's not even that. It's just because of like control and timings and stuff like that. Like I'm assuming you're very much like me, like because you got quite a few full-time staff for the work that you do. If I want something doing, I want it done. I want it done when I want it done, and it needs to be done at the standard I want it done by. For the price I want it done at. And when you use too many agencies, I find it's, the price starts moving and the time frame starts moving.
Well, it's even like with our social media clients, I always say to them at the beginning, if you've got somebody in-house who can do your social media to the standard that we do it at, have them.
Yeah.
Have them in-house, and I'll come in and they can pay me as a consultant. I'll come in and I'll train them up, and I'll work with them over a period of time to get them to that level. I've done it with one of my clients. She worked with us for 12 months. And her clinic it needed somebody in house because it was that many different treatments, that many different rooms. I just said have somebody in house and I'll come and train them up because you're going to excel.
Yeah, I feel like that's the right way to do it as a business. Like get agency to hopefully a good one so you can model what a good job looks like. And then as you work with the agency, you bring in a full-time member of staff to learn from the agency job and then they take over the role full-time. Yeah. That would be a smart way to scale it. But the problem is sometimes agency work, you fucking takes you 4 agencies to find out what a good one looks like that you want to emulate. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's why we get so many referrals, because they finally find somebody who's like, you do what you say you're going to do, you report back and you crack on and you get it done. And that's all you want from an agency.
Could you, this is probably random to do on a podcast, but we're filming anyway. So could we put together a package where our clients were counted as like one business? And then, so like PR opportunities that came up with it. Obviously it wouldn't be able to be too detailed for everyone, but say we had like a group where you fed the requests, say like the press releases, like, so just inbound and outbound, like we need a comment on this. We could pass that over to the right kind of client that we think would be good to comment on that. And then vice versa, if any of the clients in general, because that's probably one of the issues that you have, right? Like PTs and gym owners, for example, maybe don't work at the scale where they're going to have these stories coming out every month about successful clients. So PR for them sometimes feels like a very large mountain, doesn't it? Because they're like, well, we're only going to get 2 of these a year. Like, do we really need a 12-month PR package to do that?
Yeah, exactly. So you've got... You can throw it out there. If somebody really wants to be seen as being an expert and they love writing and they love being informative, then we can be getting regular features like we did with you, regular features all the time in a variety of different publications. And then you can have where when people come on board and work with you guys, we can give everybody a questionnaire which you can add onto it. Right, this is your press questionnaire. We can get them to fill a few bits out, tell us a bit about their personal story. We can tell them to give us their best transformation they've had or the best client case study that they've worked with. And we can start there with the stories. And if we pick out somebody who thinks, yeah, we've got something to work on, 9 times out of 10, we're going to have something to work on with everybody. We can work on that story and then we can start pitching it out there.
And then potentially if they turn around and be like, look, I've got this client, they've done this, they've got this great story, can we get that out there? Then we could obviously pick the individual stories as they come through, because they're probably not going to be.
It can be like either a bonus structure for that, like you can have it included in it, or it could be somebody like, do you want to be featured in the media? Right, well, this is what you can have this package as well.
I think it would be cool to build. Collective. Yeah, I think it would be cool to build something in that was like, overall, so like a base package, like, all right, we're going to feed you press comments that we need, where you're going to be able to submit client stories to see if they're press worthy, and we'll handle, say, X a month for that. And then obviously if anyone's like getting to the top where they're like, right, actually, I do want to have a big PR push for myself personally, then we could build in that structure on top. We can
build that in,
There we go. You've just seen a live negotiation on air for a new part of the programme. And then we just have... Is it on air if it's a podcast? Or is it on web?
Live, on air.
Is it on the sea?
You've not got a red button
You're the producer guy. What do we call the term? Just live?
I guess on air is when we're actually live. But we're not
recording
actually live right now.
Oh, that's really disappointing.
We're on the mic.
We're on the mic.
On the mic.
That's
Live on the mic.
live on the mic. Inside.
But yeah, we just have, and then what we can do is we'll have a dedicated person within our agency who works solely on the fitness side of things and taking on board all of that, and can smash that out.
There we go.
The media always want stories. That's the beauty of it.
Well, it's never going anywhere, and there's always more
Nope.
of them.
Exactly.
And if you do have to scrape the barrel, you can always get it in the sun.
Yeah.
We're in Liverpool, so we'll talk less about that.
Yeah.
That's a good time to probably wrap it up. Thank you very much. I know we've kept you a little bit longer than we promised.
Thank you for having me.
For the purposes of the podcast, I know we've just done a YouTube video, but where could people find you?
They can find me all across any social media platform. It's Leanne S. Sykes, Leanne with an I, so it's Lianne. And then Quirky Frog HQ.
Brilliant. And if you're one of our clients, I guess we've got PR coming.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Heard it here first.
Thank you very much.